Welcome back, Santa Clarita Valley. We're here on your hometown station for the Neighborhood Watch, brought to you by All American Bail Bonds. Here with very special guest on the line, Deputy Tony Moore from the Ecom Triage Unit for the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, and with Josh Dubin, Deputy Josh Dubin from the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station Crime Prevention Unit, with me as always. Deputy Moore, we were just talking about Nextdoor and how that was a great tool for you guys to be able to actually outreach. And I think it's important to note that you guys aren't using electronic communications to monitor so much as you are to kind of watch for trends and that type of action, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And then, in pushing out content, there's oftentimes that we do come across things that might be somewhat skeptical in nature, and that, and so we would take whatever means that may be, whether it's, threats or something like that, threats to the community. But for the most part, our civilian officers here, they are pushing out content and just responsible for monitoring all the stations and all the different social media platforms. We have 26 different patrol stations plus specialized units, and we have a Facebook and a Twitter account for each one. So their job is to basically oversee all that particular content and make sure it's getting out to the people that want it.
So correct me if I'm wrong on the structure here, but basically the Sheriff's Department has, its headquarters bureaus, obviously, and its electronic communications unit, and you guys have like kind of the 10,000-foot view, but then there's also local sheriff stations like Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station that are also constantly putting out their own messages that are kind of community-based?
Yes, and that's correct. And what we identified is that, in addition to county areas, we also have contract cities. And so we thought that it was valuable to our residents that they have a person they can identify in their particular community, like a Josh Dubin, that does a phenomenal job.
The Josh Dubin.
Kyle, can we get an applause? Kyle, bring it on.
No, but that does a phenomenal job, and that the community can relate to. And so at each station, we make sure we have what we call a public information officer, or PIO. And, at that particular level, they handle all their local area content. And then, at a higher level, we're just here to support and give them whatever tools or training that they need to get their job done.
So from your perspective at the countywide level that you get to see, what kind of trends are you seeing, or what kind of activity are deputies particularly seeing a lot of that people should be aware of? Because we like to let our community know, what to look out for, any trends, and that's kind of one of the goals of this show.
Yeah, I would say one of the things that we're seeing quite a bit, and being here at headquarters, we receive quite a few calls, because we take in information from the public as well as from our deputies out in the field. But one of the things we're seeing is that residents are getting calls about a scam where they get a call and they say, hey, listen, you have a warrant in the system. And the person that's calling is represent themselves as the LA County Sheriff's Deputy, which is concerning. But they'll say, if you don't pay your warrant by a certain time, we're going to come and arrest you. And you must get a green dot card or some type of credit card, and you must, send it to us at this address, or put it on this card and send us a number. And sad to say, we've actually had some people pay that. So, that's one of the biggest scams we're seeing now. We're doing all we can to use all of our platforms to push out that message. But we want the community to be aware that, always verify if someone calls. Well, first off, Sheriff's Department would never call an individual and say you have to pay money over the phone. So first and foremost, that would never happen. And then second, call your local sheriff station and definitely report it. And there's different platforms and that you can report that as well. And I'm sure we can give you those numbers at the end of the broadcast. Right.
Well, can I have a question?
Sure.
I have a question for Tony.
Okay.
A lot of calls that I'm receiving, especially over the last couple of weeks, is a similar scam, but it's the IRS calling, and it'll be, hey, the IRS is going to audit you. You have back taxes. You need to put money on this card, or Western Union this money. And the IRS and the FBI and IC3.com have all done different press releases on it, warning people that, this is a scam. The IRS is not going to be calling you to collect back taxes. That's not how they operate. Have you found, or have you heard in your research, and I've seen a little bit of this online, some of these scams are even coming from overseas, and people are concerned when they're talking to me that on their caller ID it'll show up that they're calling from the Santa Clarita Valley, or they're calling from Washington, D.C., and have you heard, or is it possible that these are Google Voice type numbers and these are actually overseas? Some of these scam artists could be actually overseas as well.
Yeah, I can say that primarily that's pretty much what they're doing. There's different things out there that they can, it's called spoofing their number. Spoof card, I think, is one of them that you can actually change the number that you're calling from, and we see it quite a bit in the 911 calls that the individuals would do called swatting. But that's definitely one of the things that we are identifying in the calls that we're getting here, is that they're making it look like it's coming from an actual sheriff's station. And not only that, but they'll call and they'll do the research to find out what are good numbers for our sheriff's department, because they're publicly available,
right?
So they can get those. But yeah, and then they just put that number on there, and when people call us, regarding the complaint, they're saying, yeah, it's an actual sheriff's station number. So it makes it kind of hard for us to verify for them. But the names that they're giving usually aren't sheriff's department employees. And so we're working with our fraud and cyber crimes unit to try and combat this and bring these people to justice.
Awesome. Deputy Moore, we have to take another quick commercial break, but can we have you on for one more segment, because we haven't had a chance to put you on the hot seat yet?
Okay, yeah, sure, I'll go around.
All right, good deal. All right, we'll be right back on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS, the Neighborhood Watch, brought to you by All American Bail Bonds after this quick commercial break. Welcome back, Santa Clarita Valley, to your Neighborhood Watch on AM 1220 KHTS, brought to you by All American Bail Bonds. Deputy Josh Dubin with me in our Canyon Country studio, and we have Deputy Tony Moore on the line from the ECOM unit. We were just talking about some of the social media outreach that the Sheriff's Department does. And Tony, every day I try to tell new people about the Nixle service, and that's something you guys use all the time for outreach. Every sheriff station has it, but you guys also have your own, like the department-wide service, and there's one at every sheriff station, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And talk to me a little bit about that. If somebody wants, it's a free service, but if somebody wants to sign up, they can just type Nixle and then their respective city into Google, right?
Yeah, what they would do is, and what's great about Nixle is you have to think about, in the event of an earthquake, the first thing to go out is telephone service. But what always constantly works is text messaging. So the great thing about Nixle is that it's text, web, and email based. So we don't consider that a social media platform, but we do consider it one of our primary tools to use as far as putting out our press releases or our news releases. But what the public, all they have to do is if they just text their zip code where they live and just text that to 888-777, and they're automatically signed up for Nixle. And that's through their phone. So, if they want to do that in case of emergency and get it, or if they constantly want to get updates for their area, that's all they would have to do is just text that message. And then if they want to go on the website, they can sign up and receive emails as well. That would require them to go online. But if you want to get news updates sent to your phone, it's that simple.
And you guys also have a YouTube channel, you have a Pinterest, you have Facebook for the Sheriff's Department if people want to keep up, and there's some really cool pictures on and videos on some of those. But am I missing any of them? I got the big ones, I know, but go ahead. Yeah, the
other one would be a new one that obviously is Nextdoor, and then also Instagram.
Oh, Instagram, that's right. So another, we like to talk about get serious because obviously, crime and public safety are important, and we want to get the community message out there, but we also want to get to know our Sheriff's Department officials with a little segment we like to call the hot seat. So, Tony, thank you again for calling in. Are you ready for this?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Well, first question, what's your hometown?
My hometown is the city of Fontana.
Fontana. All right. Favorite album of all time? Best album of all time.
We're talking musical.
Yes.
Album.
Music.
As opposed to...
I mean, we're not talking about like a record. Photo album? We're not talking about a photo album.
Okay. I think that's obvious.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Kyle.
Okay, I'll be quiet. Go ahead.
Sorry, Tony.
My favorite album, man, I would have to say it was Michael Jackson's Thriller. No. I just aged myself, but hey, that was a good album.
I think that is the second Michael Jackson Thriller.
Yep.
Who else said that?
Captain Johnson.
Captain Johnson said that also.
He also said Thriller. So getting the love from Michael. All right. First job you ever had, Tony?
Believe it or not, first job I ever had is, and I'm proud to say, I worked at Wendy's. I was flipping burgers.
Yes.
I think that creates character.
I feel like if you have a hamburger that's square, that the patty is square.
Yeah, and those come out of the machine square, right? I mean, that's why. Well, I don't want to give away any trade secrets.
I am sworn to secrecy, even from the day when I had my first job. I'm not allowed to tell.
That's loyalty, folks. I respect that. All right. The reason you became a deputy, Tony.
And I know this may sound cliche, but it has always been to help the community and do all that I can. I've always had a love for helping people, and I'm in a position now where not only can I, work a patrol station and work a small, or I shouldn't say small because no LA County Sheriff Station has a small area, but
right.
I'm able to affect that community. But now I'm in a position where I have millions of people that we can reach each and every day. I just try to do the best job I can here in doing that. So definitely to help people and to make a difference in LA County citizens' lives.
And I know I've seen you out in operations before when there's a big media presence, but I would imagine with the nature of the ECOM unit, most of that is spent near the keyboard and kind of watching the electronics, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And like I said, it sometimes I've had on numerous occasions the opportunity to see posts that were a little disturbing, people threatening to commit suicide. And there's been a couple situations where we were able to reach out to the individual and send a radio call over there, and they self-admitted themselves and got help. So I feel like, hey, I was able to save lives. Here I am in Monterey Park at Sheriff's Headquarters, and I saved someone's life that's halfway across the county. That's special, and that means a lot that I'm able to do that from a keyboard. So I know that ECOM, we're saving lives, and we're getting the message out to the community, which is important.
Awesome. And if we can transfer, I know I changed subjects for a second. Sorry, I want to get back to the hot seat. You're not off it just yet, Tony.
Darn, I thought I was off.
Favorite meal while you're on the job?
Favorite? You know what? I really don't. I'm a pack a lunch kind of guy. So, I pack sandwiches.
Okay.
Healthy sandwiches. So, yeah, I don't eat out too much, but yeah, I pack my lunch most of the time.
Man, deputies eat so much healthier than journalists, I'll tell you. That's for sure. All right. Best part of the job, aside from helping people, because we know that we hear that a lot, and obviously, you like to help people if you're in the law enforcement field, and that's what you're doing. But outside of that, what's your favorite aspect of the job?
The community and the community that we have within the job. I've met some lifelong friends on the Sheriff's Department, and I continue to. I mean, you would think, you're a small Sheriff's Department, you know everybody already. We have 19,000 employees.
Wow.
And that's a large agency, so it's like every day you get the chance to meet somebody. And here at headquarters, we teach an intro to social media and investigations in the internet. And that's primarily for our employees here, and it's just to let them know the dangers of using social media and the internet, and they can tell their families, they can tell their friends in the community. And so I get to meet so many more employees that way, and that's really a love, is teaching and just interacting even with county employees. So that's definitely the number two greatest thing about being a deputy and working for the Sheriff's Department.
Good answer. Favorite cop movie or cop TV show?
Come on, that's what you do. It's got to be Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
that's a good one.
classic.
Axel
It's
Foley.
got to be
That's a
Beverly
good
Hills
one.
Cop.
we will accept that as a right answer. We would have also taken The Wire.
No, Southland. I told you already.
Oh,
Southland
yeah.
TV show, Beverly Hills Cop for the movie.
All right.
Yeah.
Outstanding answer.
And last but not least, what is the number one preventable crime that you see that if you could just get the message out to people about it? Especially, I think you might have a unique answer from this on the ECOM unit.
Yeah. I do. That's a great segue for me because I would have to say that number one preventable is identity theft. And it all boils down to you can secure your computer, you can secure your house, you can secure all these different things, but a lot of the situations come back to just human error. And I teach this in our social media classes that the weakest link in any security system is always human. And it's just we tend to do things repetitively, so we'll create the same passwords across all of our accounts because it's easy to remember. And that's just the human nature. part of it. So I would have to say that is definitely preventable if we look at ourselves and look at the accounts accounts we set up and passwords we use. Just make those random and don't use the same password across all platforms. And the reason I said it's a great segue is because in about a half hour here, you can join me on Twitter. I'll be teaming up with. I'll be tweeting on hashtag ID Theft Chat for the next hour, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So I'll be on Twitter. So if you have ID theft related questions, I'll be available for you on Twitter. And my handle is LA Cybercop.
Okay, again, that's hashtag ID Theft Chat. We got to take a break. Deputy Tony Moore from the E-Com unit of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate your time and giving us that information. It's a great service.
Oh, thank you. It's always a pleasure to be on your show, guys.
Thanks again. And we got to take a break. Like I said, I got to go change my passwords. We'll be back on the Neighborhood Watch on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS, brought to you by All American Bail Bonds.